Well, from penicillin to insulin and anaesthesia, X-rays, 3D printing and gene therapy, medical discoveries and inventions have been improving our health and well-being for centuries.
Yeah, but what does the future of the sector look like as artificial intelligence enters the clinic? We could see more rapid and accurate diagnosis as well as personalised treatments and even a reduction in human error and costs. And for more, we welcome futurist and author Michael McQueen into the studio. Good morning to you, Michael.
Hi, Michael.
All right, so run us through this. The next 12 months, we're going to see a rise in what's being termed brain-computer interfaces.
Yeah.
What is it and what does it do?
Yeah, sometimes these are called neural implants. So Neuralink, which is owned by Elon Musk, is the most famous of these. It's still very early days. There's only 100 patients worldwide that have got these, typically people with severe spinal cord injuries. What it allows you to do is think a word or an action and it appears on a screen. So a couple of weeks ago, Apple said they're going to plan to build this into iPhone so you can control your iPhone with your brain.
Wow.
That's where they're heading, particularly from a clinical perspective.
So how effective is that technology at the moment? Like, what stage is it at?
Yeah, it's still early days. The FDA have just done a few approvals for this, but the expectation is within 15 years, $1 billion industry. So it'll be like getting a cochlear implant today within a relatively short space of time.
I'm a little bit worried about the first thing that pops into my mind though, appearing on a screen. Is it possible to override it?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Good news there.
Yeah, great. Telehealth is set to get a serious holographic upgrade.
So they say holograms. It's really like a 3D video conferencing tool, but it's quite clever. So in a couple of parts of the US where they've got really remote areas, it's hard to get access to specialists. Rather than having just a video call, it's like a 3D consult, which is quite clever. We're seeing similar technology in concerts around the world in the last little while. So you'll see more of this, but even in-person consults are changing for doctors. So two technologies I've been watching lately, so Heidi and Lyrebird are the two. These are AI, essentially bots that they call ambient AI. It listens in, with your permission, to a doctor's consult. It transcribes it, summarises the consult for you, the patient, and pre-writes or drafts letters to specialists and referrals. Because doctors are busy. They're so flat out. We have a shortage of them, so it takes all that bureaucratic faff away from doctors. So we're seeing a lot of AI just even in traditional consults as well.
You know, also, when you're at the doctor and maybe receiving some bad news, you struggle to take it all in anyway sometimes.
Yeah, of course.
Having somebody there transcribing it will be
great,
terrific.
yes.
Michael, on to mental health now. How will AI be able to tackle this epidemic of loneliness that we're seeing?
And we see, especially in older Australians, mental health and loneliness is a big issue. So we're seeing in aged care facilities a really interesting tool called Mila. This is essentially a chatbot you can talk to on the phone for lonely seniors. It doesn't take the place of human connection, but for seniors who don't get a lot of visitors, it can be a great thing. So what they've done, the first few tests of this that they've done, within 30 days, levels of anxiety and depression significantly drop, and they watch the residents become more social, more engaged after chatting with Mila, because Mila remembers what we've talked about last time and asks questions. And it's just a great stopgap for people who are feeling a little bit disconnected or isolated.
How did you go at that doctor's appointment?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I'll consult with your AI to see how you went.
Yeah, which is sometimes your son or your daughter may not think to ask you, right?
Exactly, yeah.
More than 4.5 million Australians living with cardiovascular disease. What's the movement in the futuristic space around this?
Yeah, cardiovascular disease, 40% of deaths are attributed to this. It's huge. But early diagnosis is hard because we have a severe lack, again, of clinical radiologists. So a company called Atella has developed an AI tool that is 100 times faster than human radiologists, but also a little bit more accurate on balance. So it allows us to get through more patients more quickly, to identify early on if you've got issues for those early interventions, which is vital.
I mean, that's going to save lives, isn't it, if they can get on top of that?
Yeah.
Talk to us about full-body scans. I mean, it sounds like a good idea, but not all doctors are convinced on this, Mark.
Yeah, that's right. It's almost like something out of Star Trek, do a full scan to see what's happening in your body. And typically people who've had cancer treatment, when they're in remission, they'll do regular PET scans and MRIs to make sure things haven't had recurrences. Why not get ahead of that and proactively look for things? So a company called Ezra have developed a 22-minute full-body MRI. It costs about $500 to do. And even though some doctors are like, is it overdiagnosis or a misuse of resources? For peace of mind, I think this is a very compelling case. We'll see a lot more of this in the next few years.
Now, before we let you go, you recently lost your grandma.
I did,
I'm so sorry to hear that. But she was at the forefront of medicine?
Yeah, she was just over 100. No, Dorothy was her name. She just passed away a few weeks ago. But interestingly, she in the 1940s had a bad case of pneumonia, almost lost her, except that we just received the first shipment in Australia of penicillin. She was the first Australian, to get antibiotics. Without it, she wouldn't have survived. I wouldn't be here. Like, amazing. She's seen so much. She was a nurse as well, so in her lifetime, so much
Did she ever tell you
change.
about that moment of what it was like before they said we're going to use this experimental drug?
Yeah, it took months of treatment. She had like 7 or 8 big needles a day just to survive. It was extraordinary. I had no idea until relatively recently.
Wow.
And look where we are now.
Here we are now.
And she realised what your line of work is now and everything.
She's
So wow.
always so, even at 100, so curious, so interested, which is such a wonderful trait, eh?
Yeah.
Wonderful story.
Well, she's passed that on to you. So look at you
Thank
now.
you.